So, ang tandaan po natin dito, unang-una, this is a criminal case po in final namin. So, when you say criminal case, ang issue lang po talaga dyan, whether or not may nilabag ba or may ginawa kayong something illegal. Tapos kung meron po yung liability. Meron lang po yun, kasi yung tinatanong sa akin paulit-ulit kahapon is, pang-distract lang daw to, will this affect the impeachment proceedings? Wala po tong correlation doon. This is not a TRO case, an injunction case, but simply a criminal case para yung mga taong nag-violate doon sa Anti-Money Laundering Act, bank secrecy law po natin, and the Data Privacy Act ay mapanagot as to the penal provisions of those laws. Yun lang.
Legal content creator, aba blogger. At dating legislator mula po sa Northern Samar. Siya ay nagsilbing representante ng Aangat Tayo Party List noong 17th Congress. Mula 2015 to 2019, aktibo rin po siya bilang legal educator at content creator sa social media kung saan meron po siyang 800,000 followers across YouTube, TikTok at Facebook. Bukod sa abogasya, si Atty. Neil ay isang registered nurse. Atty. Abayon, welcome po at maraming salamat sa oras. Please, I'll give you the floor.
Okay, so first and foremost, it is my honor and privilege to be of service on behalf of Atty. Mans Carpio and to be part of this, kapihan ng tayo.
Kapihan sa talakayan.
So salamat po for the invitation, and I am very excited to discuss our legal position and to clarify some matters regarding the cases filed po ni Atty. Mans.
Attorney?
Attorney, tingnan
Yes.
ko, no? After today na nag-appear sa atin si Attorney Neil, yung 800 niya, madadagdagan ng 200,000.
Sa totoo lang, magiging million po yan namin. Hindi po to promise, it will happen. Attorney Abayon, in simple term po, sir, ano po yung pinaka-core issue ng mga kasong isinampalin niyo po laban sa ilang miyembro ng House Justice Committee at ilang government agencies?
So the case filed, ito kailangan ko po i-emphasize kasi based on all the questions I received yesterday from different media outlets, mukhang may misconception po sa public. So ang tandaan po natin dito, unang-una, this is a criminal case po in final namin. So when you say criminal case, ang issue lang po talaga dyan, whether or not may nilabag ba or may ginawa kayong something illegal. Tapos kung meron po yung liability. Meron lang po yun, kasi yung tinatanong sa akin paulit-ulit kahapon is, pang-distract lang daw to, will this affect the impeachment proceedings? Wala po tong correlation doon. This is not a TRO case, an injunction case, but simply a criminal case para yung mga taong nag-violate doon sa Anti-Money Laundering Act, bank secrecy law po natin, and the Data Privacy Act ay mapanagot as to the penal provisions of those laws. Yun lang po yung pinaka-final po talaga namin.
Attorney, hindi ko alam kung dapat kong tanungin kasi minsan pagdating sa usaping korte, parang hindi natin pwedeng pangunahan yung mga aksyon na gagawin nyo, baka ma-preempt. But I want to ask you, pero nasa inyo po yun, kung sasagutin nyo o hindi, ano po ang pinakamalakas ninyong legal basis sa pagsasabing may paglabag po sa Anti-Money Laundering Act or Bank Secrecy Law at Data Privacy Act? Attorney?
Okay, so kung tingnan po natin yung Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended, Section 8A to be specific, very straightforward naman po yung term at provision ng batas na yun. Nakalagay doon, they cannot disclose, shall not disclose in any manner any information they receive, yung AMLAC and its secretariat, even after they leave their office. And then if you read the entire RA 9160 as amended, wala na pong exceptions na pinrovide doon. So, yung position namin, it is absolute, yung confidentiality. At hindi po naman pwede natin ma-blame si Atty. Mans if he is enforcing that right. Kasi tandaan po natin, hindi po kami yung gumawa ng batas, mga congressmen po. Diba? So, kung binigay yun ng congressman sa amin yung right na yun to enforce that, yun yung ginagawa ngayon ni Atty. Mans. He is enforcing that right that was given to him by no less than the Congress people po natin.
Yes, Attorney.
2021 amendment lang po yan.
Okay.
And itagdag ko lang din, ma'am, even in the section 16 din po nun, may provision din that states the AMLAC records cannot be used for political purposes.
Yes.
So, yan.
Sa inyong pananaw, attorney, may limitasyon po ba ang kapangyarihan ng House of Representatives Justice Committee sa pagkuha at mga paglabas ng mga financial information? Attorney, kung meron po, saan po ito nagtatapos?
So, ito po, i-discuss ko yung pinaka-foundation and fundamental basis po nitong Anti-Money Laundering Act natin and other confidential laws natin kasi baka po iniisip nyo, ano lang yan, ordinaryong batas lang naman yan, therefore lamang yung right to accountability provision, section Article 11 of the Constitution. So hindi po yun ganun kasimple because we have to remember the right to privacy natin emanates from the Constitution din directly, which is under the Bill of Rights po natin yan. So kung ganyan po ang nagbabanggaan ngayon, Bill of Rights natin versus accountability of public officers, eh di ba sabi po ng Supreme Court dun sa most recent impeachment case nila, Duterte versus HOR 2025, na the Bill of Rights, the right to due process, applies in all stages of the impeachment process. Diba? So they cannot simply invoke or sabihin, hindi po nila dapat sabihin na because this is our power to initiate, therefore we can do whatever we want. Hindi po ganun, ma'am. Kasi di ba we have to remember, there is a legal principle na tawag. In-emphasize din po to ng Supreme Court. Dun sa final note nila, ng Duterte versus HOR case, sa pinakadulo, sabi nila, there is a rule of just law. There is a right way to do the right thing at the right time. Yun po yung binabalance talaga. Hindi pwede yung magtago lang tayo sa accountability of public officers sa provision kasi nandyan din po yung Bill of Rights. And then if we go to the basics of our constitutional law, kung tingnan po ninyo yung structure ng paggawa ng constitution natin, nakasunod-sunod po yan eh, preamble, national territory, declaration of state policies, and then Bill of Rights. So, bakit siya nilagay sa Article 3? Diba? That means, talagang may importance po yan. Diba? So, yun yung kailangan i-balance. Hindi po pwede, in very simple terms, hindi pwede sabihin lang na we can do whatever we want because we are performing our impeachment function. We still have to preserve and protect the rights of the people.
Okay, attorney. Sa usaping particular din po, sa usaping Anti-Money Laundering Council, attorney, saan po ninyo nakikitang nagkakaroon ng posibleng paglabag? Sa proseso po ba? Sa disclosure? O sa paggamit po ng mga impormasyon?
Disclosure and the use of the information. Kasi since they disclosed it, that is already a form of using the information. So that is a clear liability under Section 8A. And in the amendment, the most recent amendment of RA 9116, nilagay po nila dun eh, may penalty pag i-violate mo yung Section 8A.
Opo, attorney.
It is very specific po in batas.
Napakaganda, no? Nagiging malinaw na sa atin lahat kung ano-ano yung mga paglabag o posibleng na ilabag nila. Marami po nagsasabi, attorney, na kailangan po natin kailangan ng full transparency para po, syempre, sa accountability. Paano po ninyo sasagutin ang argumento na ang pagprotekta sa bank secrecy at data privacy ay maaaring maging hadlang sa paghahanap ng katotohanan? Attorney?
So, doon lang po tayo, babalik tayo sa rule of just law, the right way to do the right thing at the right time. So, again, in very simple terms, the right to accountability needs to be balanced with the Bill of Rights. Hindi nga pwede na sabihin lang nila, we are initiating the impeachment complaint, therefore, we can do what... Hindi po ganun exactly sinasabi nila, but I am just simplifying it para maintindihan po talaga. Para kasing ganun nangyayari eh. They want to do something, they will vote on it, tapos approve. So, we have to remind them that we have the Bill of Rights and that the right to accountability is not the right to politically persecute.
Yes.
Accountability yung issue natin dito. Eh, lahat pa lang naman po, these are all allegations pa lang. Yet, yun, nadi-disclose na in public, tapos walang right to cross-examine, to confront the evidence and the witness. So, yun po yung dilemma dito.
Dire-diretso na tayo, attorney. Alam ko, humihingal pa kayo, pero alam mo, sa taong naninindigan sa tama at hindi nagsisinungaling, kahit na alug-alugin mo, isa lang magiging sagot. Yun, totoo at tama para sa tao. Diretso na lang po ito, attorney. May nagsasabi na ang mga kasong ito ay paraan lamang para kontrahin o pahinain ang impeachment proceedings. Ano po ang malinaw ninyong sagot dito?
So, we'll just go back to the basics of criminal procedure, criminal prosecution. The issue is whether or not may nilabag ba kayong batas. Yun lang naman po yun eh. This does not touch on the impeachment. Kasi sila po yung nag-disclose. Sila yung may ginawang something illegal. So ini-enforce lang po yun ni Attorney Mans. This is like what I stated earlier, hindi po to injunction or TRO. Wala pong ganong objective para pigilan yung impeachment. Ang sa amin lang, ang issue po talaga, whether or not may nilabag ka ba under the Anti-Money Laundering Act. If yes, then you should be held liable.
Yes, thank you very much. But for our second segment para kay Attorney, no, I'll give the floor to our Attorney Yvette Contacto. Thank you very much, Attorney.
Thank you, Papen.
Thank you.
Oo. Panyano, you mentioned no na there is of course the concern ng right to cross-examine, no? Yung mga nag-appear during the clarificatory hearing that is obviously deprived, no, of Attorney Mans Carpio. Would you want to further elaborate on this para mas maintindihan ng mga bloggers natin at saka nakikinig? Why is this important, especially in the light that Attorney Mans Carpio is a private individual?
So una po, pinaka-basic, Attorney Mans is actually not a party respondent to the impeachment case. Diba? So he has nothing to explain or to respond. Wala po siyang duty currently kasi hindi po siya parte ng kaso. Lumabas lang yung records niya ngayon para siyang collateral damage in the simplest way I can explain it. So yung right to cross-examine as to the question po ni Attorney Yvette, eto mag-legal discussion na lang tayo. Yung right to cross-examine is very important po sa isang party to a case because we have the right, number one, to be presumed innocent, di ba? So since that is a constitutional right po natin, kailangan niya ma-confront lahat ng nag-a-allege sa kanya and of course the genuineness of the documents. And the way structured po yung House of Representatives, yung impeachment proceedings nila, yung rules, wala pong nakalagay doon specifically about the right to cross-examine or confront yung mga respondents. So in other words, it will be discretionary or dependent on the members of the House kung whether or not papayagan ba nila. Diba? So, pag ganong situation, makikita nyo, there is really room for abuse.
Correct.
Kasi you are at the mercy po kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin or papayagan nilang ipagawa sa'yo.
And then, bringing that to the fore right now, yun yung issue kung bakit nagkaroon ngayon ng kaso, ng pag-file ng kaso ni Attorney Carpio.
Hindi po ma'am, hindi yun yung purpose. Yung sa amin lang talaga, whether or not may ginawa pa silang illegal, we are of the position they violated the Anti-Money Laundering Act, therefore they should be held liable under the penal provisions of that. Sa impeachment process ma'am, wala kaming pakialam talaga actually kasi kung gusto na pwede naman i-TRO, injunction.
Oo. So, pero insofar as you're concerned, sir, yung nangyari po na paglabas ng mga bank records po, no? Nadawit po ba dito? Kasama rin po ba dito si Attorney Mans, pati yung mga ITR, pati may mga ano po ba?
Yung ITR po, yun yung dinidiscuss ngayon, if I'm not mistaken, sa current impeachment hearing as we're having this panel discussion.
Okay.
So yung una-una pa i-emphasize ko, emphasize ko lang din po pala, yung AMLAC records, we have not officially received an official copy. So yung meron lang kami ngayon is from the YouTube account ng House of Representatives.
Okay.
So hindi pa na-notify properly talaga si Attorney Mans regarding that. And yung na-divulge doon na talagang apektuhan si Attorney Mans kasi the way AMLAC presented it, it appears to be the financial transaction records daw ni Attorney Mans Carpio kasi may mga na-disclose doon na names of certain clients. And as you all know, di ba si Attorney Mans Carpio is a very private person. All throughout, si VP naman was elected public officer, pero si Attorney Mans did his best and took efforts talaga to maintain his privacy. So therefore, you cannot just classify him agad as a public figure kasi he worked hard to maintain that privacy aspect po. So hindi dapat siya basta-basta na lang dinadamay.
Okay. How do you find po yung yung concern dito no sa pagpatawag ng mga ITRs? Sa mag-asawa po ba 'yon? Na pinahingi ng ng house o kay VP lang po?
Sa mag-asawa.
I see. And walang kaalam-alam
Plus
dito.
the businesses that they allegedly have business interests.
And when these were these were subpoenaed, walang kaalam-alam si Attorney Mans na pati 'yon ipapatawag. Or
Kung ano
ipapa-produce.
lang po yung records na nasa YouTube, sa transcript of records nila ng House of Representatives, yun yung aware kami.
And therefore, you find this as a violation also of his right?
Yes. because again, he's a private individual and yung current kasi sinasabi, since he is married, therefore he is open to public consumption. Pero yun nga po, he took efforts po all throughout for many years to maintain his privacy. Therefore, hindi siya pwede automatically consider as a public figure na pwede na lang for public consumption.
Would you want to comment also na yung transactions ay yung mga documents pertains to transactions that go all the way to 2006
Yes.
allegedly, and during that time hindi pa po sila kasal, tama po, ni VP. Would you want to comment on that also? Yung extent, yung lawak ng panahon kung saan pinakuha nila yung mga documents.
So, una, yung kailangan natin ma-take note dyan, in impeachment process, the case must be based on for the actions during the impeachable term, for the term of the impeachable officer. So, yung 2006, sobrang layo pa po nun. So, yung question dyan, bakit nila inabot yun? Wala namang correlation na yun sa actions niya as an impeachable officer ni VP sa harap. So, yan lang po. I think the Filipino people naman po can have a reasonable conclusion as to why.
This is just on your personal note. Would you say this is selective justice? On a personal note, you're not speaking right now as the spokesperson of
As a blogger, ma'am.
as a blogger, as a lawyer.
Selective justice. So, if we look at the way they applied it sa impeachment process po kay President Bongbong, one of the reasons why they dismissed that is because madami daw issues na pending pa, wala pang final resolution, like yung mga sa Supreme Court cases na pending. So, if we just base it on that alone, kung tingnan niyo po yung impeachment complaint against the Vice President, may mga certain issues din na pending pa dun Wala pang finality.
Correct.
So, and then kung tatandaan din po natin, lahat ng allegations ngayon ay wala pang conclusion. Sa COA, si VP still has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court.
Correct.
And then, nabalitaan naman po siguro ninyo, di ba, na mag-i-issue daw po ng letters of authority, LOA. Yung BLR kagabi,
Correct.
press release pa lang po yun. So, letter of authority, that's very preliminary pa lang po in the determination of tax cases. So, nandito pa sila sa step 1, pero may mga, insinuations of certain wrongdoings. Again, constitutional presumption, our right to be presumed innocent constitutionally yung pinakadapat unang tandaan dyan.
Okay, Kapeli?
Hindi, gusto ko lang susugan din kay Atty. Tuloy mukhang handang-handa si Atty. Tuloy-tuloy yung tanong namin, tuloy-tuloy din yung sagot.
Blogger, ma'am eh.
Blogger kasi,
Na-monitor ko po
anticipated na.
yung impeachment from 2025. Kasi I personally am very passionate about constitutional law.
Yes, that's great.
Impeachment touches on constitutional law.
Kanina kasi,
Kapeli,
tanong ko lang muna.
may personal comment.
Okay po.
Alam niyo po kung bakit may passion si Attorney Neil dyan sa constitutional law. Apparently ho, isa sa mataas na grado niya nung pagpasa niya sa bar ay ang constitutional law. Kaya, and then it's very interesting kasi nga katulad nun, lalo-lalo na yung rights nating mga tao, involved kasi yan Kung baga sa doktor, di ba, ginagamot yung sakit ng katawan, yung Bill of Rights kasi yun yung sa mga karapatan natin, yun, hindi mo man siya nakikita, pero mararamdaman mo siya. Kaya ganun ka-passionate si Attorney.
Yes.
Maganda yung sinabi ni Atty. kanina. It's an eye-opener to all of us. Ang sabi niya, ang mga tao daw, kailangan hanggat hindi mo na papatunayan at nailanatag yung mga kung ano man posibleng magpapalakas para sa pagpapakilala sa tao yun, hindi pa yan guilty. Inosente pa rin yan. Kanina nanonood ako, akala mo talaga totoong-totoo na yung kinakaso. Pagkatapos, ang pangit pa Atty., what can you say about yung parang exaggerating lahat ng moves at movement para to show sa mga tao na may na-violate talaga si VP Sara. Number 1, yung habang nagsasalita sila, galit na. Wala na yung pagiging restrained. For me, it's very unbecoming para sa isang taong nakapwesto sa Kongreso na pinaniniwalaan ng lahat ng Pilipino. Tapos habang nagsasalita sila ng kung ano-anong mga salita na pinakikita at sinuzoom nila yung upuan po ni VP Sara. Showing that parang ang pinalalabas nila sa mga tao na nakikinig at nag-update na tingnan mo, parang guilty to kasi hindi nga makapakita. Kasi kung wala siyang kasalanan, dapat pumunta siya. Ang sa amin lang, attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, attorney, parang salita mo. Correct me if I'm wrong. Di ba? Attorney, correct me if I'm wrong po. Kasi sa nakikita namin, kaming mga simpleng mamamayang Pilipino na lumalaban ng patas sa araw-araw, bakit po ganon? Ano po ba yung mga nalalabag nila dito at naaabuso? Bakit hindi pa man napapatunayan na siya'y may sala para akala mo yun na po ang lalabas na magiging desisyon ng pangkalahatan?
So, answer lang ang personal capacity ko
Opo,
as
lang,
a taxpayer, Filipino citizen,
Opo.
and as a political observant, and as a public interest legal educator. Okay? So, politics. Yun
Yes.
yung very straightforward answer yan. So, dito natin makikita yung sui generis nature of the impeachment process. Being quasi-political, quasi-legal. So, they're most likely trying to get public sympathy. Kasi
Yes.
they are the prosecutors. And dagdagan ko lang ma'am yung comment ninyo para mas maintindihan niyo po talaga yung preliminary investigation. I say quote and quote kasi that's from their own words
Yeah.
ng House of Representatives. So when you say preliminary investigation, di ba sila po, lagi nilang sinasabi yun. In my very first participation in an actual case po sa PI, yung investigating prosecutor po sinabi sa akin directly na, attorney, kahit kayo po nagreklamo, hindi mo ko kakampi. Sinabi niya sa respondent, kahit ikaw yung kinasuhan, hindi rin kita kakampi. Ang purpose ko lang dito is to establish probable cause pa po nung tayo nun, hindi pa reasonable certainty for conviction. So ang purpose lang daw niya is tingnan kung may probable cause pa based on our statements. Pero hindi siya kakampi of the complainant or the respondent. So ngayon, if you apply it to the House of Representatives, they themselves describe their process as an preliminary investigation, pero yung action sila na wala ng impartiality.
Yes.
Kasi they are not prosecutors pa po eh. They are simply establishing probable cause.
Yes.
So yan yung another issue na gusto ko
Yun pala ang dapat natin maunawaan lahat, mga kababayan, mga talagang sumusubaybay sa Kapihan sa PDP Live Podcast. Yung mga naririnig ninyo, hindi yun eh. Kasi dapat, katulad ng sinabi ni attorney, pakinggan mo lang yung both side. Tapos hihimay-himayin mo yun hanggang sa lumabas kung ano yung mas matibay na ebidensya para sa taong kinokondena. At ano din ang matibay na ebidensya para sa nangongondena. Tama? Attorney?
Tama.
Alam niyo mga kababayan, hindi tayo pinanganak kahapon. Para magkaroon po tayo ng guide sa mga nangyayaring nagaganap. Tama yung sinabi niya. At binasin niya yung sarili niya at nili niya bilang simpleng mamayang Pilipino at taxpayer. Alam niyo, kung ako sa inyo, balik tanaw tayo sa ginawa nila at nangyari doon po kay Justice Corona. Ulit-ulitin lang natin.
Tama.
Attorney Yvette, susugan mo naman ako kasi para talaga sayang nandito na si attorney.
Hindi, actually, yung Attorney Neil, yung gusto kong humingi ng iyong reaction kasi yung pambungad kanina ni Congresswoman Luis Dro is this. Figures do not lie. Lakas-lakas pa naman ang boses niya na ine-emphasize niya yon. Ilang bilyong transaksyon, ilang milyon na halaga ng pera na hindi naka-report. Tila may conclusion na. Pero when she said figures do not lie, would you want to please comment on that specific remark ng ating kongresista?
So, she should be reminded, figures do not lie. Tapos, dapat may allegedly yan. Kasi hindi pa naman established yan.
Correct.
Those are all allegations pa lang. We have not even received the AMLAC report. Di ba?
Hindi ba?
So, the right to due process pa lang, may issues na agad. We have not been properly notified. So, yan lang po. That's her opinion. So, with due respect to Congresswoman Luis, may free speech naman po tayo.
Oo. So in other words po, yung pag-testify ho ng AMLAC, wala pa silang report. conclusive report or any kind of report. Basta they were just asked to testify.
Well, they submitted a report that appears to be kay Attorney Mans nga, pero we have not fully verified it, reviewed it. So hindi kami maka-give ng proper comment kasi yun pa lang yung basihan namin, YouTube account lang nila eh. Yung sa live stream po ng House of Representatives.
Balikan ko po yung sinabi ni Capelli that it seems every time the name of VP Sara is mentioned, the camera would focus on the seat where she's supposed to take, no? Why? Is there any reason why she's invited? Kung hindi rin naman pala siya makakapag-cross-examine?
So I'll go back to my public interest legal educator person.
Okay. Oo.
So, yun nga po, it's mainly politics, tapos trying to get public support na si VP, despite the invitation, she is not participating. Kasi in the last case kasi Duterte versus HOR, main issue was due process. So ngayon, they are emphasizing na they are complying with due process daw. So yun. Sinasabi ko lang daw kasi may pending cases din po yan. So doon na yan sa court, clearly na-establish kung tama ba yung pag-comply nila or mali pa rin.
Pero attorney, do you think after VP was given her the complaint, and then her lawyers prepared the answer at cautela, even without this clarificatory hearing, na satisfied na ba yung requirement ng due process?
If you're asking for my legal opinion?
Yes.
Ang tingin ko po is yes. Kasi kung tingnan po natin yung rules ng impeachment proceedings, meron declaration in sufficiency in form, substance, and in grounds. So kung declared sufficient na yun lahat, yung reasonable conclusion doon, sufficient na siya to establish what they are trying to establish. Because why will you declare something as sufficient in ground, in substance, and in grounds, tapos kulang pa pala? So yun yung isa pang issue talaga kasi medyo magulo din yung rules actually ng impeachment rules ng House of Representatives. Tapos after ng declaration, doon lang sila magkaka-hearing. So bakit ka magkaka-hearing kung declared as? I mean, if you just apply simple logic. So yun lang po yung observation ko sa rules nila. Currently, yung sa House, kaya they're allowed to do that kasi we have what we call presumption of regularity of government functions. Pero you have to take note, presumption lang yun.
Correct.
Kung mapakita na there was grave abuse, may mali, ma-overturn yan sa korte. So yun yung most likely reason ni VP Sara kaya nag-file siya ng cases din yan.
Dapat pala, attorney, nung doon pa lang po sa nangyari kay Justice Corona, medyo iniba na natin or nanawagan na ang taong bayan na hindi dapat pabayaan din yung authority and power sa mga kinatawan. Kasi pwede rin sumobra, lumabis na mas ikasasama ng kalagayan at sitwasyon ng bansa. Kasi aside from bending the law, they can twist, they can manipulate, tolerate, lahat na po ng negatibo na maapektuhan ng ating pong bansa. So, kawawa naman po kapag talagang napasukan ng pamumulitika, kaya niyang sumira talaga ng isang taong may dignidad, kredibilidad, at kahit siya may autoridad, kaya nilang ganunin because of the power and authority of the House. Yun nga lang po yung nakapalulo mo. Nangyari na yan before, sa panahon po ng ating pong butihing Justice Corona, at nakita ninyo, umiiyak siya.
Yes.
Nobody believes kasi yung mga nakaupo doon at nagkukondena, makikita niyo rin po sila. Because some of them are part of nangyayari na naman na magiging history. But please, taong bayan, mga kasama, mga Pilipino, nalinlang na tayo noon, ikinamatay ng isang mabuting tao, huwag na tayo magpalinlang ngayon. Di po ba? Kasi, kawawa naman ang mga Pilipino, inulit-ulit ko kasi ayoko po yung nagsasalita ng taong bayan eh. Kasi yung taong bayan, nagsasalita ng taong bayan, it sounds like taong bayan. For me. Kasi we need to be very careful of our words. Sa totoo lang, kahit nagkikigil na ang taong bayan, we need to be restrained. We need to be very careful of mga words natin kasi nag-aantay yan na magkamali tayo. Lahat tinititigan nila kung kailan magkakamali ito. hindi pa nga napapatunayan eh, kinandena na. Kanina na, na-realize ko yung sinabi ni attorney, yung sinasabi ninyo na wala silang dapat sabihin na negatibo dahil hindi pa naman napapatunayan. Naghahain pa lang tayo ng kaliwang ebidensya, kala na ebidensya, pagsasamahin, ano ba'y matibay para itong taong to talaga ay maisakdal. At talagang ma-prove that she is guilty. My God! Tingnan mo ang kredibilidad ng mga nanggigisa sa taong ito. Nagkaroon ng otoridad, kaya yung kredibilidad, nagkakaroon ng parang pahapyaw na pwedeng paniwalaan. Pero sa taong maalam at talagang nalulugmok na Pilipino, nek-nek nila, walang maniniwala sa kanila. Yes,